the Bitcoin bullish momentum is continuing a little bit earlier than expected. We all know that when this, a lot of these strikes for the Eastern War that was popping off with Iran, we kind of started seeing highly highly negative prices as highly probable. And then things took a shift. Things started to get better real quick. And as of right now, it looks like genuine progress is being made. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look at the current structure as if the low is in. And what I'm looking for to be more confident to confirm if the low is in. Now, it's very weird, right? We haven't seen very strong global events like this get pretty much controlled this quickly. I think it's quite impressive actually. It's a strong sign for potentially higher prices. Though before I actually get into this, I did close out the UCO trade. I think I showed it yesterday. I closed it out, and then throughout the day today, as I started noticing investor sentiment, how that's kind of evolving right now, I decided to also close out the VIX trade. And instead, I'm going to be looking to open them up again if we start seeing any weakness in the price. So I'm not completely out of it, but there is some strong bullish momentum I want to go over. But basically, one cool thing too is that there is a lot of Bitcoin buying going on. I feel like a lot of whales, a lot of large institutions, important names, they're all buying Bitcoin, and very, very much. I think because they saw it break below 100K, it could be possible, just my opinion, starts recovering. And technically speaking, this dip is, it filled our bare minimum requirements for the fib extension, although I like to see usually the 0.5 get broken, but this is fine. So a lot of Bitcoin buying is going on. And what I'm going to do is that I'm going to highlight how I am determining whether or not this could be a bullish fake out or not. And I'm being very cautious with it. What else? I think I showed yesterday the 40K Bitcoin investment with BitU, although it's much higher now because we've seen some strong appreciation happen. I'm still looking to add another 10 or 20,000 in the very short term. So I want to keep growing that position. It's not done just yet, especially since we're still below the all-time high, and I think we can break up into 150 plus very quickly. But this is what I'm looking at, right? So again, in case you guys are new, I'm going to go over something I go over quite often, and it's how similar the 2024 deep value recovery looks very similar to now. So we had 3 deep value dips at this time. It was below 55K. Strong rally that breaks previous resistances, and then a nice dip into the proper retracement. This one is in orange, not purple. So here's something we really need to keep an eye on, right? And this is just to throw caution out there and to remind all of us to be, careful regardless of how much optimism there is in the market right now. So we saw the price come down very briefly into the proper retracement before having a rise higher. Now this rise didn't break the all-time high at this time within the this isn't the all-time high for Bitcoin at the time, but it's the all-time high within this bullish rally. So with that being said, it's like we came out of it, held below it, this right here, held below it, and we came down and had a deeper dip, actually breaking the 0.5 retracement before we start pumping up higher. So we could be seeing something very, very similar. In this case, it's 80K being deep value, where we had 3 dips below it, strong recovery out of it, breaking previous resistances, and now the overall proper retracement was finally hit. And now what we're looking for is quite simply this. Now there's a few ways of looking at it. I'm going to break it down for you guys. It's as simple as using a retracement tool from the low, the first reasonable swing high within the structure, all the way down to how far it went. As you can see, the price is weakening right at the top. The 1.618 extension at 106,892. It topped it. It topped it perfectly. It topped it perfectly. and then now it's showing some weakness, and the RSI is also overextended to the upside. It's not overexhausted, but it is in premium. And now what I'm looking at is there's two things: seeing if this resistance continues to hold. And I'm going to make this a little bit smaller actually. We don't really need all that space there. So we want to see if this area is going to hold the price down from going above 107K. It's fine if it breaks over a little bit. I'm just going to round it up to 107K because it's still possible, because, you know, this swing high right here, obviously it's not the overall swing high, but this swing high was broken and we're still sort of holding at that price. And with that being said, well, it's like, well, if we start seeing similar momentum where there was optimism in the market, but of course we still had fluctuations coming back down before we go much higher. The question is, right, besides looking at this area to see if it holds, the more important thing is just to keep an eye on the overall retracement for this move higher. Now, I could just start it from here and bring it up, because this dip down did fill in imbalance and proper retracement. But the reason I want to do it like this, and it's more significant to me, more important, is because we have strong imbalance here. Now, this imbalance was filled, and this one's too weak. I mean, especially since we have this one right here. I mean, if you look at it, this in the 2 or even 4 hour time frame, there's a pretty strong imbalance here as well. But I would not be surprised if the price comes down in the short term, trades between 101,500 and 102,500. Reason being, discounted portion of the fib retracement, perfectly overlining with imbalance. Now, if you guys have been watching me for a while, you notice that these tend to fill most of the time, and they are also strong indicators for a potential support or resistance. So that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking for the price to start weakening, come back down, lower the RSI. Price comes down. It could find support at the 120 moving average, but I won't count on it too much, just because we have more evidence on stronger momentum down here. So that's what I'm looking at. It's as simple as that. So I'm going to leave the swing trade where it's at. In case we do go much, much higher, we can easily just go much higher. But because we are a resistance, I'm going to be patient with adding more money to the swing trade that I have. And this is all just my opinion, because we're holding resistance. We have a strong indication that the price can break the 120 moving average, bottom out the RSI, trade between the two levels I mentioned before it goes up higher. So if support holds and we start breaking up higher, we want to see the overall swing high within this structure broken. And that will create a lot of bullish volume, in my opinion. And we'll start seeing a lot of potential leveraged positions within the heat map. But, and this is still very much possible. Now, I'm not, even if we bounce at the 0.618, or, we hold above 100K, we bounce higher, I'm not completely going to be overly optimistic or just blindly start buying, because even if we come all the way down here, it's very possible that we come down, we hold support, we go up higher, but we find resistance at any potential imbalance, or even as we come down this area, there'll be a new retracement within this area. And this can be very strong resistance to see the price kind of have a fluctuative correction right here to the bull side before prices come down and make one more significant low, a bit lower, below 100K, well below this one, potentially even coming down to around the 95K area. So this is something I'm looking at, and as of right now, this is what I'm expecting for the most part. Now, I'm not going to really just short right now, because, if we come down, I want to see micro supports being broken in order to potentially start shorting Bitcoin and use the lower boundaries of the yellow retracement as a selling point to take profits, and then letting the price do its thing to see if it's going to hold the short-term resistance that will eventually be drawn here if this were to happen. And then if it does, boom, we come down, we have that one more low down here. We finally can say that this purple area was filled more properly, and then eventually, just much, much higher. So that's what I'm looking at right now. If we hold above this, if we break above this area and hold above it, I'll give you guys new resistance structure just to keep an eye on, because it's very important to be informed and use this to make your own, to look up your own research and make sense of things yourself. But at the end of the day, everyone's trades is your own trades. This is just what I'm doing and how I'm approaching Bitcoin. So yeah, I'm not ruling out this purple area just yet. I'm going to keep a close eye on resistance, potential support, which could be a TP for shorts, and then letting the price fluctuate to decide if it's going to break the swing high or if it's just going to finally have that one more low down there. So a lot of patience right now, but it's just Tuesday night, so we have 3 more US stock market trading days. I do trade ETFs, so I'm not in the spot market. But yeah, this is how I'm looking for Bitcoin. We have a lot of bullish momentum, and this can easily continue. And last thing too is like the VIX has been dropping. Crazy news has been coming out. It's positive news though. So we saw the markets rally, and this came down lower. Now, this can easily pop at any point as well, because regardless of the war being done, or at least done for right now, not having any more significant, headlines at the moment, but we still have tariff fears and inflation fears. So that could be that just could be something could come out that could be a catalyst to drop the market and then pop the VIX. But we'll have to wait and see. As of right now, the market, or at least the S&P, is very close to all-time highs. I wouldn't be surprised if bullish momentum breaks all-time highs, and then we start seeing like FOMO volume kicking into the S&P, because the 120 moving average has been acting as a really, really strong support recently for a while. So I'm just gonna, like I said, I'm gonna keep an eye on the S&P, the VIX, especially Bitcoin, because there could be a shorting opportunity soon once I get confirmation. But if not, I'm gonna be looking at reasonable areas to pick up additional exposure to Bitcoin as we continue to build bullish momentum. But as of right now, I it's very possible that we could have created a small top within this structure, and now we're just trying to see if overall support will hold. So I'll keep you guys updated, and I hope you enjoyed.